This video was made in partnership with Sigma.
Hey guys, right, welcome to my next review. I have been lucky enough to get my hands on the holy grail of landscape astrophotography. So this lens here is the Sigma 14mm f1.4 DG-DN lens. Oh my gosh guys, I am so excited to use this lens. So check out this video to find out more. Right, we've waited too long now. Let's just open up this box. I do love their padded nylon bags. They're really good. Here we go then, guys. So here is the lens. Oh, what a beast. So this lens, the Sigma 14mm f1.4 DG-DN lens, is a powerhouse, guys. You know, I have waited to get my hand on this for so long, and I'm so grateful to Sigma, just a shout out there for sending me this lens. Guys, for a long time I've been an avid purveyor of the Sigma 14mm HSM f1.8 lens. I loved it, but there was just a couple of technical issues with this lens which has been fixed with this powerhouse of a lens. The thing called a DG is that it's designed as a full frame lens, and that's what I think is so important to realise about this lens, guys. If you are interested, it is designed as a professional lens. Honestly, the amount of length which has gone to developing this lens is superior. If I start talking about it, I really love the front pinching element of this lens. It just gives you that extra confidence that the lens hood is secured in place, which I found with the f1.8 variety, it's just a slip on and slip off. It just ensures that no dust or anything else gets on your lens. If I have a chat about the lens hood in particular, this is something really cool. So if you guys are avid purveyors of gel lenses, it actually has storage space. It's really good if you decide to shoot with those. I personally don't, but it just shows that Sigma's gone to an extra mile. What I really love about this lens is that there's a lip here which is specially designed for lens heaters. Now, in my profession, which is landscape astrophotography, the weather can really change. It doesn't matter what research you can do. You can get condensation on your lens, you can get anything come in, and so it's really good to keep your lens supported and heated. That's why with my lens heater, which is the Move Shoot Move lens heater, it's really good. So the idea being, you put your lens heater around the base of the lens, wrap it around like so, and that lip just prevents it from moving, which I found was a difficulty on the f1.8 variant. So it's really good. Sigma have really thought about its clientele in keeping the lenses warm at night. As I mentioned, this lens Sigma have really thought about for focus on astrophotographers, and so if I just talk for it just a little bit, we've got all the basics which come with the lens. So we've got its manual focus, which is at the very top. It is very linear. That's what I love about shooting at this focal length, is that when you want to make that really fine adjustment, you can, and so you have a good look at your LCD monitor and make sure you can get your lens as sharp as it possibly can. We also have a manual focus lock, and this is where Sigma have really thought about astrophotography. So for example, if you had pre-focused your lens set to infinity, just use that lens lock and it fixed your focus in place, and I thought that was such a good idea by Sigma to do that. So good shout out, guys, for doing that. Something else which I like personally for my astrophotography setup is that we have an aperture click control. So by changing the aperture, you've got this click which you can hear. Listen. And for me, I think that is really good because you want certainty of what aperture you're shooting at when dialing it in on your camera. So obviously you've got, you know, the setup which comes up on your LCD monitor, but when you're especially shooting at f1.4, it's just good for a bit of peace of mind that you're able to do so in that instance. What is also really good is that with Sigma lenses, they have the brass bayonet style mount. So this has got a weather sealing around it, which is so good to prevent moisture, condensation, potential precipitation from entering your lens. So I'm really glad that's also in the design of this lens. Now, one thing I have to mention about this lens is it is an absolute whopper, measuring in at 152mm. This lens is a big, look at my hand. And you know what? As an astrophotographer, I love that because I want to know that I am shooting with a really robust lens, and I'm telling you, just with the way that this lens is built, you know you're immediately shooting with a powerhouse. So this lens weighs in at 1,160 grams, which is very similar to the lens I've just reviewed actually, which was the 70 to 200mm lens. Now, because of this, Sigma have built in their removable tripod collar, which is the TS141 tripod collar, and I think this is really good because, as I found out with this variant, a lot of pressure was being put on the actual adapter of the lens itself, so it's really good that just for balancing out the weight of this incredible lens, that Sigma have built this into their lens setup, which is awesome. And this lens really stretches the limits of what is possible. This lens I'm holding here is a first in the world. It is shooting at 14mm and f1.4. One thing to know about the jump from f1.8 to f1.4 is the amount of light that it lets in. That's why I want to show you this image which I captured with this lens. So this is on the top of the Mendip Hills when I was photographing the Geminids meteor shower. When I was shooting at f1.4, the amount of details that you could see within the winter circle, as it's called, the winter constellations, just seeing the detail in the dust lanes from a Bortle index of 3 from the Mendip Hills, I thought this is absolutely incredible. So something I have to mention at this moment in time is the lengths Sigma have gone to in order to reduce sagittal coma flaring. So just imagine the situation as it is, the Sigma 14mm at f1.8. There is a lot of chromatic aberration going on in the very corners of the lens. And what Sigma have done with this lens is to correct just that. So if we have a look at this image here, at the very corners, the stars are pin sharp. And also what's really noticeable was the amount of purple magenta flaring at the corner edges of those stars, and all that has been corrected. There's a couple of drawbacks which I'm sure you guys have already imagined, is that it is a heavy lens. Because you are shooting, and this I think is justifiable, at such a wide focal length, we do get a bit of barrel distortion with this lens. So if I just reveal that, look at how beautiful that curved glass is. Now, because with my astrophotography, I want to be shooting at wider focal lengths, so you've got more details in the night sky. I'm not too bothered about that personally, but again, this is not just for astrophotographers. This lens can be used for multiple disciplines. So it's just bearing in mind that when shooting with such a wide aperture, looking at the curvature of the glass and all the corrections that Sigma have gone to make this lens, just bear that in mind if you do decide to use this for other purposes. And because of all of these technical enhancements, it is a pretty expensive lens. So again, it's just thinking, do I want to make the investment? Myself personally, I want to be cutting edge with my photography, and so I want to be up to date with as much advancements as possible. So guys, I think you know what my answer is going to be here, but would I personally recommend the Sigma 14mm Art f1.4 lens? Well, all I can say is I have been waiting for a very long time to hold this lens in my hand. It is an absolute powerhouse. There's just been so much which is corrected with this lens. So just to recap, thinking about a lens hood that does not slip, we have extra considerations for aperture control and clicking. We also have a manual focus lock switch, which is really good. We've got weather sealants on the lens, we have got chromatic aberration control, and we also have a tripod mount at the center of the lens. Would I recommend this lens? 110%. It is a beautiful lens to have shot with, and an absolute privilege to do so as well. So I'd like to thank Sigma very much for the opportunity to review their lens, and as always, make sure to leave a like, subscribe and ring the bell to my social media channels. Here's to clear skies and all the best. Thank you for watching.